Lee, I guess you're blessed to have the availability of rotation at the moment, right? We couldn't be so sure about your 11 against Newcastle, for example.
No, I mean we've been without players all season, haven't we? I mean Mings and Buendia, two of the first choice 11 from the end of last
Yep.
season, both been missing all season. We've seen very little of Moreno and Ramsey this season, up until very recently. So yeah, we've had injury issues too, but I do think now when I look at that squad, even without Mings and Buendia, we've got strength in depth now.
Yeah, I mean, you added someone like Clement Longley, which I presume you wouldn't have done if Tyrone Mings hadn't got injured, for example.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, just that strength and depth that we've got now to be able to bring someone like Tielemans off the bench, and have someone like Duran for Watkins who can chip in with the odd goal. It's just a real upgrade compared to what we had 12 months ago. Luca Dean and Alex Moreno. We've got two left backs that would walk into most Premier League teams. So yeah, that's the biggest difference I think compared to what we had 12 months ago. Is just that strength and depth now.
To answer a Planet FPL question, I've got Leon Bailey. Suja's got Moussa Diaby. Which one of us is going to be particularly unhappy come game week 22 if we start our players?
Well, more and more over the last few weeks, Emery's been playing both, hasn't he? Which I know for a
Don't see
while.
that lasting now. Tielemans is back though.
No, maybe not. It's a really tough one to call. That Emery's one of these managers where, without making this an Emery loving, which obviously I could do for a full podcast on its own, he does seem to have a game plan for every match, and he will pick the best 11 that he thinks will win that game. He doesn't just have his first choice 11 and he rolls that 11 out every week, which is what has made picking the Villa 11 this season quite tricky, because at times he does bring Bailey into the 11. Other times he'll drop Bailey out. He'll play Cash at right back, or sometimes it'll be Konsa. And that then has repercussions on further up the pitch, whether it's the Diaby or someone different.
That said, though, if we assume you're a back four and you've got, let's say, 6 attacking positions, if you will, if you include the midfielders, not that I'd want to name Boubacar Kamara as one of them, but Kamara, Louise, McGinn, and Watkins,
yes,
would be a shock if they didn't start, right? For any
yeah,
game at the
those
moment.
are definitely the ones where you would say.
So it's only 2 more spaces within Tielemans, Ramsey, Diaby, Bailey, basically.
Yeah. Tough. It is tough.
Do you see him using Diaby out wide? Because a lot of us thought that's what he'd come in as a wide player when you sign him. We haven't really seen that. So I presume to club those 4 other players together, Bailey's the one who naturally wants to play wide, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Bailey and Ramsey, both wide players. I mean, Ramsey was left-sided wide player, first choice for the whole of last season. Zaniolo's the other one that comes into the equation that we haven't mentioned.
Told you was wasting that with alone space there, mate. The other one, to be honest, I think, again, if Buendia hadn't suffered his problem, you wouldn't have bothered with that either.
No, probably not. But yeah, Diaby is the one that, surprisingly, he's been wanting to play through the middle off Watkins. But then we've also seen Tielemans play that position just behind Watkins as well. So
it's not really a surprise to me, to be honest, about Diaby. I think one of the things, we were obviously every link with him last year, and I think because we play 4-3-3, and that's all we play, there were, I think, concerns about him in that wide position and tracking back, particularly when we've got Almiron and what he does there. He's doing almost the complete opposite. So I think if he played out there, he'd get exposed in the Premier League and it'd become a place that, particularly with Cash behind him, that would be targeted. So that's why I like Emery. I think he's a really good manager, and he just has, like you say, that flexibility, which Howe hasn't got, to be honest.
I quite like him too, so he's all right.
Are we still sticking with the narrative, Lee, that Bailey generally is probably bad news for Cash, subject to fixture? Because I think we have to remember that there's the few that they've played recently together, but they've been some of the easier fixtures, haven't they, with respect?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, if we've got an easy home game, it could be both of them. But if the fixture is average or a tough fixture, you wouldn't expect to see both of them in the 11. It's going to be one or the other.
I take it Ezri Konsa is the one definitive at the back, is it? Whether he plays the right-sided centre-back or right-back or not?
Yeah, and Torres when he's fit.
So Torres would definitely come back in for you. What's the latest on him?
Well, we thought he might be in and around the squad for the weekend. Emery said in his press conference, Torres is fit, he's trained, he's good. but he wasn't in the matchday squad, so I don't know whether he was playing games a little bit there.
Yeah, that one's a bit concerning because he was on the bench at Manchester United, wasn't he? Which was New Year's Day. So you think, well, he'll ease him into the next game, and we're fast forwarding over 2 weeks now.
Yeah, you certainly can't go and buy from an FPL point of view.
Would you buy Alex Moreno?
Yeah, I don't mind
Is
that.
that the one? Do you see him playing regularly enough? Because you know what is he going to play instead of Luca Dean? That's the fear, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, any sensible FPL manager is going to have a 12th man of some sort to come in. But with Moreno's high upside, I think it's worth that gamble. I do think he is the better player than Luca Dean. And I do think there's a reason why last season Emery signed one player that made it into the 11, and that was Alex Moreno. It's his man. He's brought him in. And he was really good against Burnley. Got forward loads. Yeah, I don't see any reason why it won't be Moreno's position going forward.
So if you wanted to invest, you'd go in at that rather than one of the cheaper, perhaps safer ones, Torres or Consa, for example.
Yeah, I would. I think there's the upside there to go for it.